Well, the day has finally come to pass. Kevin McCarthy, last night, or early this morning. Yes, the words Speaker McCarthy now carry weight. He is the big man in D.C. He is third in line to be president, and he has finally achieved his lifelong goal. This is the highest political office that Kevin McCarthy could ever aspire to, as he is a Republican from California. That means never any Senate for Kevin McCarthy, no governorship for Kevin McCarthy. This is it. This is all he's cared about. And he has it. He should be happy. And frankly, I couldn't imagine wishing happiness on a worse person who deserves it less. So, why did this happen? Why this sudden change of events when just 2 days ago you had 20 Republican holdouts who refused to vote for Kevin McCarthy? And then this morning, Saturday, January the 7th, I believe it is, he is now the Speaker of the House. Well, he gave in to their demands, officially. That is what we're being told. That's what the people who flipped are saying. They're saying, hey, he gave us everything we wanted. And, at that point, they essentially gave him a bunch of demands that he could never meet, that he would never agree to. And they were expecting him to drop out. But he instead gave in to their demands, as I said he should have days ago, rather than having, 15 votes. And so he made the logical choice. But the downside of that for the 20 holdouts is he actually going to follow through with it? Is he actually going to give in to their demands in the long run? Are they going to change rules? Are they going to get their committee appointments? Are they going to create a second church committee? According to these former holdouts who finally gave in and voted for Big Kev, they claim he's going to do it. We'll see. I see no reason why he can't stab them in the back. I don't know what incentive he has to make good on his word. And then, of course, there is the matter of, well, does any of it really matter since the House is split, or I should say the Houses of Congress are split between the red team and the blue team. The blue team controlling the upper chamber, the red team controlling the lower chamber, and of course, the blue team controlling the big house. Honestly, I can't say. I'm not someone in Congress. I don't quite understand all of the nuances of what the holdouts were demanding. As far as, particular rule changes and stuff like that, to the way that the orders of operation, or whatever the hell they call it, the rules of order, however that works. But I got the feeling that most of what the House holdouts were demanding were procedural matters. They were rule changes. They weren't really asking, hey, we want you to repeal Obamacare. Nobody, not even the craziest, most right-wing Republican in the country is talking about repealing Obamacare. That's crazy talk. Now, judging, if you watch the actual roll call vote on Friday, which is when, early on Friday, which is when the 14 initially flipped, or was that Thursday? Might have been Thursday. They did not look too happy. The holdouts turned McCarthy supporters. They looked, in fact, very upset. They didn't look like they were happy with themselves or the position that they were in. They didn't look like they were happy with their decision. So I would have to imagine that a lot of them don't believe that Kevin is going to be true to his word either. He can always surprise us, but I've never been one to put my faith in politicians, particularly not a politician as contemptible and reptilian as Kevin McCarthy. So at the end of the day, he closed the deal. He was able to get enough votes. And, it's quite interesting. The last, I think, 5 holdouts, including Matt Gaetz, they didn't actually vote for McCarthy. They just voted present which I guess lowers the threshold so that, if you look at the amount of people who actually voted for someone, McCarthy technically got, majority. But it was their way of allowing McCarthy to become Speaker without technically voting for him. So I think that, had they voted for someone else, or for someone at all, McCarthy would have needed 218. But this way he was able to skate by with 216. Now, at this point, I don't really feel like it's necessary to go over all of the concessions that McCarthy had to make, because the holdouts have to do their part before he delivers on his part of the bargain. So all we know for now is that McCarthy is Speaker. We don't know that he's going to fall through on any of these things. And so until these matters become reality, I'm not going to, pat these people on the back or even, help even implicitly defend their decisions by saying, oh, well, look at all the stuff that they got. Because they haven't yet. So if any of this stuff does come to pass, we'll talk about it. The one thing I've mentioned is the church committee thing, and that's because I trust Thomas Massey's word. I think he's a probably better judge of character than most of these people. I think if Massey saying, hey, we got the church committee thing through, then that's probably a done deal. Now, unfortunately, Massey did not say that he's going to be the chair of it. He just said he's going to be on the committee. But, heck, I'll take it. So when it comes to this new Congress, I at least am looking forward to that. As far as anything else, don't know. If these things do come up, if they do end up getting implemented by McCarthy, I will retroactively go back and point out that, hey, these were demands made by the 20 holdouts, more specifically the 14 who initially flipped, which I guess led by Chip Roy. And I will congratulate them on a job well done if this stuff gets through. Now, on the bright side, a Republican House, along with a Democrat Senate and presidency, historically has created the greatest gridlock in Washington. And gridlock in Washington is very good for the rest of the country. It means that we don't have to worry about what's going on up there as much, if at all. This was the case during the Obama years, from 2010 to 2014, or really 2014 to 2016, to be honest, 2010 to 2016. Those were pretty relaxing years, all things considered. And then, of course, you had Clinton from 94, up through 2000. Republican Congress, Democrat president, almost nothing happens. What does happen, though, is terrible, because that's when you get, only bipartisan bills through. But here's the thing: if it was an all Republican-controlled Congress and presidency, these so-called bipartisan bills would be going through anyway, along with whatever other terrible stuff the GOP is wanting to ram through. So now, at least, you've got 2 out of 3 categories of bills that are not making it through the legislative process. You're not getting the GOP establishment bills. You're not getting the Democrat establishment bills. You're just getting the terrible bipartisan bills. And honestly, I'm not sure what role the House of Representatives is even going to play in 2023, because they just passed this, the massive omnibus, multi-trillion-dollar bill to fund the government for the rest of the year. So, and that was right before, they swore in the new Congress. That was, again, a bipartisan effort. So, Kevin McCarthy could just probably sit on his hands for a year, not do a damn thing, just sit around, collect a paycheck, and, have people praise him. Oh, Mr. Speaker, you're so wonderful. And I think there's nothing else in the world that he'd rather do more. So, with that said, I will see you folks back here tomorrow.